Hey guys, yesterday in our endeavor to speak about seeing life through the eyes of our hearts, we spoke about the fact that as believers, we should walk in an attitude where we have nothing to hide. We know we have nothing to hide because God has seen it all. We can't hide anything from Him. And I want to take it a step further to you today by saying to you that just humanly speaking, there is no substitute for a clear conscience. People who have clear consciences with no baggage are people who sleep well and therefore live well as well. And when we look at what this looks like through the eyes of David, who confessed his sin, and no longer were his bones groaning, and he was just making his way routinely through the issues of life, that refreshment came and that state of blessedness was his. Now, when we have nothing to hide, let me tell you too, we leave no Satan, no foothold to get a grip of us. You see, Satan begins his relationship with you by looking for a foothold. He wants to get a foothold in your life, which is just that opening of the door, just a crack, and that's all he needs. And he'll get in there and he will gain a foothold, just a little thing, just to mess with temptation, just to mess with this, to mess with that. And Satan has got this tiny little foothold. He's still very vulnerable, because you can get rid of him easily when he just has a foothold. But if you leave him there too long and he gets too comfortable in your life, he will turn that foothold into, you know what I'm going to say, a stronghold. He now has a strong hold on you. And when he's got a strong hold of you, on you, then man, I've got to tell you, it's very difficult to get rid of him at that point. You've let him linger in your life for too long, and now he is very, very strong. So getting rid of these footholds so they never become strongholds is what we need to do on a daily basis. If you have a stronghold, however, a whole lot of spiritual discipline, spiritual warfare is going to be required, and spiritual discipline in the sense that now I have to get rid of him. I think that sometimes when we talk about deliverance, we expect it to be some dramatic scene with some guy coming and exercising exorcism on us to get rid of the demonic forces that live within. Well, there's place for that in today's world, in an extreme example. But for most of us as believers, it's just dealing with the strongholds that have come because we left the door too open, and he's now got a stronghold because we let him get a foothold. So first thing, stop the foothold. Recognize it at the start. Get rid of it and deal with it. When it's a stronghold, we turn to the Bible. And the Bible teaches us about biblical living. The Bible teaches us how to live our lives. And the greatest way to get rid of some of the strongholds in our lives is simply to live a biblical lifestyle. It's to say, God, what are your priorities? Let me make them mine. God, what are your values? Let them become mine as well. And as you begin to live a biblical lifestyle, he begins to lose his strength of the hold that he has upon you, and eventually he falls off the way. Now, if we're ordered to do that, you may need to do a few things, practical things. You need, first of all, to read your Bible. So if we're going to live a biblical lifestyle, you better read the Bible so you know what a biblical lifestyle looks like. And the second thing that I advocate is finding an accountability person, someone who you can share with, somebody who you trust, someone you know who's not going to go down the corner and say, hey, you know what Trevor said today? No, you don't need people like that at all. Keep away from coffee, place talkers who sit around and talk about other people. Keep away from those people. Don't share with them these truths. But find yourself somebody who you can trust implicitly. Share these thoughts with them and say, would you hold me accountable? Would you come to me every week and ask me the tough questions? Ask me how I'm doing with those bad habits. Ask me how I'm doing with those bad thoughts. Ask me how I'm doing with those bad things that I used to do. Ask me. I'm inviting you to challenge me at these points. Now, the thing about it is only big people can do that. Little people are going to continue running and pretending. But big people are saying, man, I want the best. I want to deal with these things. I want to get over them. I want to go through them. And I want to glorify God. Because the less strength he has in his stronghold is Satan, is the better you become. So deal with those strongholds. biblical living, biblical thinking, and biblical accountability. I hope you find somebody who will do that for you. Someone who will just with grace and kindness and an uncritical spirit say, hey, how's your heart this week? How you doing? Are you doing okay? Is there anything I can pray for you? What have you been thinking? What have you been doing? What TV programs have you been watching? What books are you reading? How much time are you spending on social media and on what? How much time are you doing Facebook and for what reason? Let them ask you the tough questions. You may not like them, but I got to tell you people, they're good for you. I hope you're able to do that. Let's break these strongholds and get rid of them so we can be what God wants us to be. But you in the meanwhile, go and have a good day. Bye-bye.